So today I want to discuss some Saints trade targets because I do believe if New Orleans can walk away from the Bears game or the Colts game, this weekend, I do think that the Saints could still be big time buyers at the NFL trade deadline. So I have 5 players that I believe the Saints should at least make a call or explore a trade with. But before we get to that, I mentioned that Colts game. And if you want a Saints win, I need your help, Saints fans. Sub for Saints dubs. We are currently at 21,940. So let's get to 22K. If you're not going to do it for Tracy Porter, do it for Rashid Shaheed. We want to get to 22K ASAP. And if we can do it before we take on the Colts, who gave the Saints their first Super Bowl win, that would be awesome. So let's talk about some trade targets. The very first one, and it's at the biggest position of weakness for New Orleans. It's offensive line. Trent Brown, the offensive tackle, I think could be a pretty interesting addition for New Orleans. And like I said, the Saints offensive line has been bad. And when you look at the overall PFF grades for every single starter on the position right now, I mean, obviously Ryan Ramczyk dealing with some injury stuff. Andrus Peat, he's not a left tackle. He's a guard. But they moved him because they don't trust Trevor Penning. There's some weird stuff going on with the offensive line, and I truly do believe that the Saints need to add to that line to protect Derek Carr, Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara. Hell, if they throw in Jameis Winston, you got to protect him too. So the PFF numbers are bad. I'm just going to call it how it is. But I really want the Saints to get better, and I think that they still can get better if they go for a guy like Trent Brown. So in terms of his production this season, you can see it on screen, an overall grade of 86.6, pass blocking grade just under 80. Run blocking grade is absolutely stellar, and he's only allowed 2 sacks for the New England Patriots. Now, I will say this. I would love to get Trent Brown. I think it would be a lot of fun, but I do think that it's going to be a very tough trade to pull off. But here's my thing. If you're all in, and you're going to say you're all in, and you're going to act like you're all in, like New Orleans has, they haven't blown up the coaching stuff. They went and added a free agent quarterback, a veteran free agent quarterback. They went and brought in some talent. They let some talent go. They haven't done things that say they're blowing it up yet. They've acted as if they're all in trying to go win a Super Bowl. So if you're going to act like that, keep acting like it. Like, let's go. If we're all in, let's go be all in. Let's not dip our toe halfway into the water with this situation. If the team stinks, you need to correct those, problems. Saints need to make a correction at the offensive line. So, guys, shout them out for me. Name a player that you want the Saints to trade for. It doesn't have to be an offensive lineman. It doesn't have to be an offensive player. It could be anyone. So let me know, Saints fans. This is your turn to be the GM. Be the YouTube host. Put on the headset and share your thoughts. All right, next one is a fan favorite, and I know a lot of y'all really, really want Chase Young. So I wanted to talk about him because I do think Chase Young is a pretty interesting player. Now, obviously, he's had some injury issues, and he hasn't been exactly who he was his rookie season. But this season so far, it hasn't been terrible. I mean, Chase Young's production, it's starting to look a little bit better. He's starting to kind of return to form. And I do think that Chase Young could add a lot of juice to this defensive line. Now, my biggest discrepancy with the D-line, they're not getting home enough. You're getting a lot of pressures. You're getting a lot of QB hits. But you ain't getting sacks. Like, it's just not the case. Carl Granderson has been amazing. You see the title. Grando has been great. I mean, this season, look at the numbers. 4.5 sacks. He's leading the team. 1 forced fumble. 9 quarterback hits. 8 tackles for a loss. Carl Granderson has been spectacular this season. I will say this, and you're not going to like this. I think Cam Jordan's a little bit on the decline. He's getting older. It happens. That's not saying that he's not a great player. Just the production slipping a little bit. Now, Cam Jordan is still a player that the offense still has to take account for. He's not a player that, opposing offensive coordinators can just disregard. He's still a dominant football player. He's still a very talented guy. Just getting old. He's getting a little bit up there in the age column. Father Time is starting to catch up with him, and the production is starting to suffer. And here's another thing for you. For our chat stats segment of today's show, it comes from Next Gen Stats, and I legitimately could not believe this. The Saints only had 3 pressures versus Jacksonville. No sacks. 0. A big old goose egg in terms of sacks. That's 8.6% on the day. And that number is the lowest pressure rate, by a defense this season. Unacceptable. The defense is this team's bread and butter. The defense is the backbone of the New Orleans Saints. Now, you got to get home and create that pressure. You got to get home and finish those sacks, and you have to get home and cause problems in the backfield because that is what wins games. The Saints haven't been able to do that as much as they've been wanting to. You see games that they win, they're putting up a lot of pressure. You see games they lose, the pressure is lacking. But you know what's not lacking is our friends over at Prize Picks. And guys, it is absolutely awesome. And I can't wait to tell y'all all about Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. You pick 2 or more players, choose more or less based on a numerical projection. And so if you want to play, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Now for tonight's Monday Night Football game, Kirk Cousins, primetime Kirk. I'm taking the less on his projected passing yards at 241.5. For Brandon Ayuk, I'm taking the more. The Vikings defense stinks. It's just not good. Brian Flores does not have that team looking great defensively. So I'm taking more for Brandon Ayuk. And Alexander Madison, that Niners defense is just so dang good. I mean, you got Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Nick Bosa. That team is so good. So I'm taking less on Alexander Madison's rushing yards as well. But guys, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. Thank you so much, Prize Picks, for making today's shows possible. All right, so Josey Jewell. He's a linebacker that I think the Saints should make a call for. And I know he's not the best option. He's not the sexiest option. But that being said, I think that you could get Josey Jewell for a lot cheaper than some of these other linebackers on the trade market. And Josey Jewell, it's all right. 43 tackles, 1 pass breakup. But you know, this isn't more so of a, I need to get Josey Jewell in here. It's more of a, I need to get Zach Bond out of here. I'm tired of Zach Bond. I'm tired of his mistakes. I'm tired of the bad plays. I'm tired of the sloppy play from him. Sure, he's made a handful of good plays in his career, but so is every football player. I mean, hell, Ian Book made good plays. Trevor Siemian made good plays for the Saints. Ian Book probably not, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, every NFL player makes decent plays, and I just think that Josey Jewell would be a much better upgrade over Zach Bond. And I will say this, like I said, Jewell's not my number one option. Patrick Queen is. I would kill to have Patrick Queen on this team. I think Patrick Queen would add so much juice to this defense. He would be so good alongside Demario Davis, Pete Werner. I think he would be stellar. But I just don't think that the Baltimore Ravens are going to want to move off of Patrick Queen. He's very, very good. He's a stellar football player. And quite honestly, he's only getting better. The Ravens, they're not looking like a terrible football team this season either. So I don't know if they're going to want to move off of Patrick Queen. But why would they want to move off of him? I couldn't tell you. If I'm the Ravens, I'd keep it Patrick Queen. So that's why I wanted to throw out Josey Jewell. All right, a wide receiver, because I know a lot of y'all are not happy with the offensive production, including me. I'm honestly pretty pissed off about it. I hate what we've seen thus far with the team. I hate that we can't see the offense score more than 20 points without it feeling like it's pulling teeth. And I went with Darnell Mooney here instead of Hunter Renfrow because we've talked about Renfrow so many times. Talked about guys like Jacoby Myers as well and some other wide receivers on the trade market. But Darnell Mooney could be a good deep threat for Derek Carr. Sure, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, they are very talented, fast guys, but just go get another playmaker. My point is, I don't care what you need to get in terms of a wide receiver. Just go add a talented one. Don't go get me some bum. I know Chase Claypool was traded recently, but I don't want a guy like a Chase Claypool that's a bum, that's washed up, that stinks. Darnell Mooney, I don't know. I think he's a better deep threat than people give him credit for. Justin Fields, is he a good quarterback? I don't know. That's my thing. Is I think that the offense stinks across the board, whether it's play calling, lack of creativity, poor decision-making, lack of effort, too much time. Like, all of these things are very true with this team. They have a lot of playmakers. Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Taysom Hill, Kendre Miller, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. You have so many playmakers on that team. There's no reason that they should be failing as much as they have been. Lack of effort, Chris Olave. There's been guys around the team that have, not really shown a ton of effort. Now, on Twitter, we saw Michael Thomas defend Chris Olave over the weekend, so I found that interesting and stuff. But there's poor decision-making with the quarterback play, with where you're throwing the ball, how long you're holding on to the ball, play calling. It's just terrible. This offense is outdated. It's not modern. The NFL has evolved. The New Orleans Saints offense has not. So I want to know from you. I'm really mad. You guys saw 5 of my issues. What's your biggest issue with the Saints offense? Is it just Pete Carmichael in general? Is it Derek Carr stinks? Is it that they haven't played Taysom Hill enough? Is it that they're not giving Alvin Kamara enough chances? Because I think they've given him a ton. They're not getting Jamal Williams involved, Jimmy Graham in the red zone. Like, what is it? Sound off and let me know. All right, last trade target is a defensive tackle. Leonard Williams, I think, could be a huge boost on the defensive line. And the defensive interior for the Saints has been good, but I think that Leonard Williams could make that defensive interior great. Now, Williams this season has 20 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, and 5 quarterback hit. And at 6'5", 302, the dude's a stud. He's a beast. He's huge. And I think that Leonard Williams is a guy that the Giants value quite a bit. Giants stink, man. They might be the worst team in football. Like, just straight up, the Giants might be the worst NFL team this season, which is crazy to think about. But I want to take a look at the defensive tackle production here. So Colin Saunders, Nathan Shepard, Brian Brzee, Malcolm Roach, those are your 4 defensive tackles on the roster. Now, Brian Brzee, I've been impressed with him as a rookie. I think that he should be getting more snaps every single week. Nathan Shepard, he's proven to be a really good addition. Colin Saunders has been great. Hell, they used him as a fullback this past weekend. They had him on the offensive side of the ball. Unbelievable. Malcolm Roach continues to be a great story for New Orleans, but I just, like I said, with the defensive ends, I want to see more pressure. I want to see the Saints defense be a little bit more successful in the run defense and pass defense, just across the board. The trenches need to play a little bit better on the offense and the defensive side of the ball, in my opinion. But what say you, Saints fans? I want you to let me know. Describe New Orleans at the NFL trade deadline. Now, that deadline is October 31st, so it's just around the corner. We already saw the Eagles make a big-time trade for Kevin Byard, safety from the Tennessee Titans. So let me know. Do you think that they're going to be buyers, sellers, or are they going to do nothing? Type B, S, or N. And Saints fans, if you need any other coverage, if you need any other opinions, if you just want to see some funny memes, videos, all sorts of fun stuff around the New Orleans Saints, give me a follow on X at TraceGerard48. The link is available in the comment section and description of this video. Trying to build up my social media following, so help me out if you enjoy today's content. And as always, Saints fans, y'all stay golden. Catch you next time.